welcome to the show. Welcome to PTZ Optics Live. My name is Paul Richards, and today we are doing an Ask Me Anything for worship streaming. I want to thank everybody who got my book for free, Helping Your Church Live Stream. You can get it for free at ptzoptics.com/book. We'll send you a free copy of this book in the mail if you're interested. And we're hosting Worship Summit Live in just 2 days, July 29th. And a lot has happened in the past couple months regarding worship streaming. We're going to answer your questions, but more importantly, we are going to show you guys some awesome new tips and tricks on how to worship together, even though we're remote, right? We're physically distant, but we can be socially together. I'm not a big fan of social distancing. I think we can be physically distant and safe, but socially together in many ways. So I've got a great presentation and some awesome guests. Hello, Tess. I didn't know. I don't know if a lot of people know you're back with us. Welcome back, Tess.
Back. Thank you. I'm so excited to be back with the family.
Thank you for being here. Mike's just going to right-click that screen capture and update it like he always does. Thank you for being here, Tess. It's so great to have you, again, physically distant, socially together. So exactly. Excited to have you here. Got a great presentation today, so we're going to go over that in a second here. Mike's going to pull up my presentation, and we're going to go over Worship Summit Live Summer. And we're going to answer all of your questions. And let me just pull up the chat room here. Super excited to have all of you. This right here is where we're going to put my presentation when it's ready. All right. So,
Your desktop capture to test?
All right, let me check something here. Oh, my vMix froze, I think. Sorry, guys. Let me just check something here. There we go. Sorry about that. Boom. Okay. Whew. There we go. That was my problem. Sorry. So wanted to say hi to everybody in the chat, by the way. Thank you for watching. Panda Gaming. Otis. Hi, Tess. There she is. Tess is back, everybody. This is like the first show she's back for. So really excited.
I miss my virtual family.
Hey, Kyle. Kyle Gunderman's here. Don't worry, Tess. You can get through the day now.
Great. Hi, Kyle.
All right, so after a little bit of a slow start, we are back. And by the way, today we're talking about worshiping together, which is going to be super fun. I'm going to do a full tutorial for you. Now, Worship Summit Live Summer happens July 29th. It's a full day event, okay? So you can join us in the celebration. We have amazing worship bands that are joining us. We have great keynote speakers. Join us if you're a pastor, if you're a volunteer, if you're in church media. We've got a leadership track, a technical track, and a professional development Zoom track. And we're going to talk about why it's so important to learn how to use some of this technology, because there are some great opportunities to really engage with your congregation online. Here's something I want to show you guys that we've talked about on this channel a lot, but it's worth talking about, is that you can chat on the live stream. All right, so you've got your live stream. That is way too big. I need to make that smaller. Chat on the live stream, okay, which I'm happy you guys are doing, right? Chatting, saying hi, acknowledging live comments from real people around the world. Then you can join a Zoom meeting. And this is something I want to encourage you guys to do. You guys can actually reach out to Tess or Julia, and they can actually get you connected with this Zoom meeting right now. And you guys can hop right in. You guys can join in. We've got a waiting room feature on for security purposes. But Julia, that's been working out really well for us, right? Hosting these Zoom meetings.
It's fantastic for engagement. And think about how many people have met and networked throughout the summer when we're doing some of these live streams just because of our use of Zoom. So it's been a really powerful tool. It's
been just so much fun. And we realized that live streaming wasn't enough. It truly was not enough to do what we wanted to. So the live streaming is great and it brings a lot of us together, but the Zoom meetings provides that two-way communication where we get to know each other. And then consider the use of breakout sessions where you can get small groups together to really collaborate, especially if you have a large church, over maybe 50 or 100 people. It's difficult for everyone to talk in one space. So we can break out into smaller groups and get to meet people in a little bit more in-depth way. So the show takeaway is this specifically: chatting on live streaming, joining a Zoom meeting, breaking out, and trying to get to that special moment of spiritual sharing, which can be done. And we've talked to many folks on our live stream and our show about this special thing that can happen virtually. Now, we talked about some of the keynote speakers. We have Bill Tenney, who is the author of From Dinosaurs to Rabbits and Turning Mainline Decline into Church Multiplication. And we have Dr. Barry Hill, the author of Mixing for God. But we also have some really great pastors from around the country. And Pastor Jasper Williams, this is his first time speaking at the Worship Summit. He is the founder of The Church in Norcroft, Georgia. His worship band is going to perform for us. It's going to be really fun. And he's going to talk about execution and excellence. So I'm excited to have him. Dave Dolphin has been in the Worship Summit before. He's a pastor at Cherokee Hills Baptist Church. And Dave is going to be talking about how to increase the production value of your live streams with $0. So I'm excited about that. Drew Barker is going to talk a little bit more about leadership and I forget the title of his speech, but it's going to be on it's on the schedule. And then Seth Haberman from Covenant Church in Moses Lake, he's going to give us a little behind the scenes tour of what he's been doing. And his church is actually going to perform for us musically. Now, here is probably the most important technical aspect of Worship Summit Live that I want to make sure everybody understands and knows how to do. And I want to just say hi to LJ. Hi, Rob. Thanks for joining us. Hi, Robert. Rodder's from Toronto, Canada. Let us know where you're calling from, by the way. Hey, NR. Hi, IMS. I'm guessing that's Shane over there. Rob, happy to have you. Jay, really happy to have you guys all part of this. How cool is streaming? The answer, really cool. Thanks, Rob. You guys are the best.
Hey, Paul, Drew's talk is the model of motivation.
Ah, thank you, Julia. That slipped my mind, but I'm excited for that. He's going to be one of our mini keynotes, if you will, not the keynote for the day, but one that is very important in the leadership track. So this is something that if you sign up for Worship Summit Live, you're going to get invited to. And I want you to understand Zoom chat because it's going to be so powerful, not just at the Worship Summit, but for your church. And I truly believe this. So where a lot of us are using Zoom to communicate, right? It's great for meetings. And, we're even today using Zoom in our live stream, right? As a way to communicate in a group, and we can have group breakout sessions and things like that. But one thing that a lot of people don't know that Zoom offers is an entire chat channel. So if your church is using Zoom, if you have one professional Zoom license, which only costs you $20 a month, you can invite everyone in your church to a shared chat channel. So I'm guessing many of you have seen this is called the Zoom client. Oh, sorry, I turned off the telestrator. But this is the Zoom client here. And the Zoom client itself has these two little options right here and here. One is for chat and one is for contacts. And if you have a Zoom license and you're not using the chat functionality, I think you're really missing out on a great way to stay connected with your audience. And with your congregation. So let's take a look at this really quickly. It's kind of like Slack. And I know not everyone has used Slack, but quite a few people have. And when you're in that chat tab there, you have the ability to not only connect directly with everyone who's in your contacts list, which you can add everyone who has Zoom in your church in the contacts list. And many churches are already using Zoom. So this is just a great way to continue that communication system. And then you can create channels. So you can create a channel for the Bible studies group. You can create a channel for Sunday worship. You can create a prayer request channel. And these channels can become great collaborative areas. In fact, I'd like to show the Worship Summit channel right now. So this is right here, the Worship Summit channel. So right here, this is the home of the Worship Summit. You can see we're meeting now. This is the chat area, and I'm just going to say hi, everyone, just as an example. And there are 67 people in here, and Tess just said hi, can't wait for the summit. And I'm just going to put a little thumbs up emoji there. But what you can do is you can go in here and you can add contacts to your Zoom account. You can enter their email address, or you can copy the invitation right there. And what I'm going to do to really make this cool is I am going to copy that invitation into the Zoom or the YouTube chat right now. So here's YouTube. Boom. Let's see if that works. Sometimes, oh, it's not letting me do it because I'm not logged in as StreamGeeks. I'm going to ask Tess to do that really quickly. Tess, I'll chat that to you. So essentially, you click that link and boom, your Zoom client is connected to this Zoom client, and now you can get into the chat. Also, another way that we're making it easy to get connected is you can actually go right to this link in Worship Summit Live. So right at the top bar of Worship Summit Live, it says join the Zoom channel. You click that and boom, your Zoom client is now connected and added as a contact inside of here, and you're part of that. So why are we doing that? And Julia, we wanted to be kind of clear on this so there's no confusion. This is for getting excited about the present summit before and after the event, maybe a little bit during, but during the Worship Summit, we're going to be focusing on that YouTube chat and the Zoom meeting chat. And that chat is really just for like collaboration and networking, right?
Yeah. So I think the best way to describe this overall Zoom chat is I use it on my phone. So it's sort of a way to almost do like mass texting with your congregation or the attendees of a specific event like the Worship Summit. So it's a great way to have that feature before an event, during an event. Maybe if you've got questions of your congregation following a service or prior to the next week's service, you might want to pose a question in that Zoom client chat. So if you have the Zoom app on your phone, it's very easy to just have it with you all the time. So, there it is right there. You've got the Zoom, it's one of the apps here. You might be hard to see with the light that I'm using right now, but that's the way to use it. The other Zoom meeting is for professional development ticket holders. They have to pay a nominal fee to attend Worship Summit Live's professional development networking Zoom session. So that is a separate from this Zoom client chat. That is just specific to our event, to Worship Summit Live 3. And then, of course, the overall live stream chat, which is how we communicate in all of our live streams on YouTube and on Facebook. It's the chat that you actually see on that content delivery network, whether it be YouTube, Facebook, or LinkedIn.
Yeah, and I think that's that from a high level, let's break that down for a second. So if you're a church and you live stream, I hope that you respond to the comments, let's say on YouTube or on Facebook. And I'm sure that there's someone on your media team who does that. And if you have a Zoom meeting, which so many of us do, I'm sure that you pay attention to the Zoom meeting chat, right? Those people are in a meeting with you and they may have questions. They may be asking you, raising their hand and wanting to be unmuted or to contribute to your meeting and your worship space. And that's going to be part of this tutorial today, is this worship together idea using Zoom that we're going to share today. And then finally, if you're going to use the Zoom chat, this is more for like, as a pastor, kind of keeping a pulse of your community. And there's some things, as we all know, that people don't want to ask for on Facebook, right? Maybe a prayer request was better for a one-on-one communication between the pastor and the person asking for a prayer request. Maybe some pieces of information are private, just to the Bible studies group, just to the spiritual sharing channel that you have. So this is a private collaboration solution that can easily be upgraded to a video call or a group call very quickly and easily. So it's one of the most advanced communication tools in the world. And I'm excited not just to use it for Worship Summit, but to see and hear from other churches about how they're using it in their for their uses. So that's going to be exciting. So that's the big idea. You can communicate with your entire congregation via Zoom, and you're already paying for this, so why not use it if you have a Zoom license? You can jump into calls, one-on-one calls immediately, and you can launch big group calls. Now, this is way beyond just having a smartphone live streaming to Facebook, right? Propped up with a roll of toilet paper, which toilet paper's back in stock now, so you can use toilet paper to prop up your smartphone if you'd like. But this is a picture that we got during the quarantine, and it was quite amusing. But what I want to talk about for the presentation portion of this is something that we're calling kind of the Worship Together graphic package that we have available for free at streamgeeks.us/church. It's also available at streamgeeks.us/two-way. And what it does is it's exactly this, exactly what you're seeing right now. It is a video template for you to use to show your pastor alongside a group of folks in Zoom, kind of like this, right? Or kind of like this, right? Our friends via Zoom. Now, I was talking to a few pastors, and they asked me if we could take it a step further. And so today we are going to do a demonstration in OBS to show you how to do that. Now, this is a picture from a show that we did with Michael Begeman. It's available on the StreamGeeks YouTube channel called Church Communications Live. And we had lots and lots of churches join us for that presentation, and it was really great. And this is a picture from that. And essentially what we're doing is we're giving your pastor the ability to be kind of front and center. And then we have a Zoom meeting next to them, and we're using OBS to put all of that together. Now, I'm going to cover some of this high level. We have some great tutorials on this, but to bring OBS into Zoom, there's a plugin called the virtual camera that you're going to want to use. Also, if you want to bring the audio from OBS into Zoom, there is a tool called virtual audio cables that you'll want to learn how to use. So I'm just going over this high level because we have some tutorial videos on this, but you're going to set up virtual cam to send video from OBS to Zoom. You're going to install virtual audio cables to send the audio from OBS to Zoom. And then all you got to do is select your OBS camera in Zoom and set up your virtual audio cables. So we've got some great tutorials on how to do that on our YouTube channel, so I'm not going to go into that in depth, but here's the end result. And I'm going to answer questions here so that we can go over this. But essentially, we have a Zoom meeting, right? This worship together idea where, and I was talking to a pastor, in fact, our keynote speaker, Bill Tenney Britton. This experience is better than in-person worship in some ways, not really better in all ways. But when you're in person at church, you see the back of everybody's heads. In this scenario, you see everyone's face. So there is a silver lining. There is some good to this. And so what you're seeing here is actually everyone's face who you're worshiping with. This is either the live worship or the recorded video that you've created for your Sunday broadcast. And then again, this is just the same thing, but we've switched, right? So we've put the worship broadcast large, and then we've made the Zoom session small, and we added a little donate link here. You can put whatever you want here, your church's logo here. All these graphic files we're giving away for free today, so you can get those. And right here we have the full screen. So this is a full screen of the video. And so I want to show how that works. So we'll do a little live demo. let's see here, and then we'll answer questions as well. So let's go to our video here. So what we're seeing here is I kind of want to do this from scratch just to show you guys literally brand new how this works. So worship together OBS setup, we'll call this. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to name my source Zoom plus worship. And so with this source, I'm going to add an image, and we'll call this the overlay. Now these images are available for free. Again, we have them in a downloads, StreamGeeks.us/2way it's called. And this is the new worship together example that I made for Raytown Christian Church in Raytown, Missouri. So this is an overlay, and we're going to go ahead and lock that as our top layer. That's our overlay. And inside of these two boxes, we're going to put a video file for the church. And I'm just going to put a video file here, and we'll call this worship video. A lot of churches are pre-recording their worship videos and then playing them on Sundays. So if you're doing that, this is a great way to kind of make it more engaging. So let's put this one here. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it down to fit into this smaller area here. And just go just like that. Okay. And I use this little lock button to lock it in place. A lot of people don't, I don't know if they know about that in OBS, but that lock button is really valuable. Now I'm going to add a window capture, and I'm actually going to capture Zoom and put it in here. So let's go ahead in here. I want to capture the Zoom meeting. Bada boom, bada bing. Now my Zoom meeting is not being captured. Why is that? I think it has to be put over here. There we go. There's my Zoom meeting. Let's go back into this. Zoom meeting. Come on in. That's the Zoom app. That's the Zoom meeting. Now, one thing I've learned is sometimes it's easier, Zoom can be a little goofy with this, to just use a screen capture. So instead of window capture, we're going to do display capture and do Zoom meeting. There we go. And we'll do display one. Yep. Okay. Now we've got our Zoom meeting. Where are you, Zoom meeting? All right, what we'll do is we'll do this as an example then, because that always works for us. But of course, when I'm live, it's not feeling like it. We'll do this as an example then. Here we go. And we will add the window capture, Zoom meeting, and we will capture this. Okay, there we go. And we'll bring it in like this. So essentially what we've done is we've basically just combined our Zoom meeting with our worship video so everyone can worship together. Now, I'm going to duplicate this really quickly. And the only thing I'm going to change is I'm going to call this worship plus Zoom. And I'm just going to make the worship video large and the Zoom meeting small so that we can kind of transition in between those. Let's lock our overlay. Let's move the worship video over and move this over here. And so now we can transition in between these two a little better. So it's so nice how OBS snaps to them. There we go. Let's lock them since they're in place. And I'm going to create one more OBS scene, and we'll call this video full. And we'll add media source, worship video. Okay. Boom. And now that's full screen. So now I can transition in between a Zoom meeting with a small video, worship video large with a Zoom meeting, and then I can go worship video big. Now in my tools, you can see here I have virtual camera set up. So virtual cam if I start that, this is going to be kind of like the final part of this, and I open up my Zoom meeting, I can use OBS camera as my camera. And look at that. Anything I do in OBS, if I change a scene in OBS, it gets changed in Zoom. Voila! So that is essentially what I wanted to go over today. So you can get that at StreamGeeks.us/two-way. I just updated that. So this whole template that we normally use for our shows is there. But I was talking to some various worship leaders, and they said, you know what, Paul? We don't have a pastor in the church. Literally, there's no pastor in the church. So they're just pre-recording videos and then streaming them on Sunday. And it's kind of like a watch party. So it's really nice to show everyone's face and have that worship together feeling. And so that is what we've accomplished with this layout. And we're just using OBS, which is totally free. So full video, picture in picture, switching it up a little bit. And then the last thing we did this morning with Raytown Church, we just added a donation link. And the other thing I want to mention with that is you can also do a QR code. So think about that, get a QR code for your donation link and then put the QR code like right down here so that someone can literally just take their phone, boop, take a picture. They just open your camera app and the QR code turns into a link, and then they can donate directly through the live stream. So that's my presentation. And I'll just finish by saying that we have an awesome group of worship leaders at Helping Your Church live stream, churches that live stream on Facebook. So check that out. I think it's facebook.com/groups/church streamers. Tess might know. I think you can search Facebook for churches that live stream.
It is /church streamers.
/church streamers. Awesome. And then there's a giveaway. So you can win a PTZ Optics camera in 2 days for your church at worshipsummit.live. So we're so excited. Thank you for joining. You made it to the end of the presentation. Now, I just wanted to get that presentation out there so we can collaborate and chat and answer questions now. So we did it. All right. So what are the questions for us? So let's see here.
There are a few coming in from Facebook that you might want to take a look at, Paul.
Okay, Tess, why don't you read those over? Because I'm just looking at YouTube right now.
Sure. The first one from Facebook comes from Ronald. Hey, Ronald. Ronald says, how can we effectively get crowd sounds of worshipers pushed to everyone to make it a more whole experience?
Oh, I like that. Well, one opportunity is to use OBS or vMix or video production software and record that audio and play it. So that's one opportunity.
An artificial thing, I say.
That's artificial. Now, if you're using Zoom and you connect Zoom and OBS together properly, which we have a video on how to do, you can actually bring the audio from Zoom and include it in your live stream. Now, Julia, you have experience managing these large Zoom meetings where a lot of people are together. Generally, the best practice is to mute everyone so that there's not a lot of people talking at once, but you can allow people to unmute themselves or you can manually unmute themselves. What do you think about that, Julia, as far as letting people unmute themselves to share the sound of their worship?
Well, I guess it really depends what's happening, right? I mean, right now in our current situation, we're not having big groups together. So back to the question that you got on Facebook, I forget the person who asked it, his name. I don't recommend doing something that's artificial. Like, I don't recommend piping in artificial sound because right now we really, when you worship, you want it to be an authentic experience. So right now, a lot of people are on their own and rather isolated, right? So as far as pumping that sound back in, I don't know, unless it were music, really, what would you be pumping back into that Zoom session?
Yeah, that's a good point. That's why I was kind of thinking like unmuting real people, maybe allowing people to just be part of the broadcast and part of it as a community. I've heard a lot of people ask, can we have, everyone's separated. Can we have everybody, our musicians play together, for example? And Zoom really isn't great for that. It doesn't work for having a drummer here and a guitarist there, because it's really meant for like two-way communication verbally, but not to the second latency for like playing music together. But I think that if people had their, if people were just jamming along with a song, and going like this and enjoying themselves, I think that, you'd have to be a good meeting moderator, Zoom meeting moderator, and unmute people and just say, the audio we're getting from that person is distracting. I'm going to mute them, but this person's just humming along. We can unmute them, for example.
Or Paul, you could do something that we're involved in pretty regularly, is employing those Zoom breakout sessions. So for instance, you can create a Zoom breakout session for people who want to, you might call it the loud room, or, that like in church, how there's a crying room for the babies and things like that. So, you could kind of create Zoom breakout sessions for different reasons.
There's also, it totally reminds me now, there's nonverbal ways of communicating, which work very well in a virtual environment. These are from messagepaddle.com. In fact, our friend Jasper Williams, there's a member of his church who came up with these. And this allows his members of the church to just say, amen, hallelujah. They can say that non-verbally, right? But show that they're coming along for the message. And there's also a few, by the way, just for technical issues on Zoom. So, we can't hear you, right? I can't hear you. What are you saying? Or I hear you. So these paddles really help. Like, for example, I have a question, you're, as a presenter, as the pastor, it's nice for someone to raise, okay, all right, Paul, I can see you have a question. You've got your question paddle, and then they can say, thank you. Couple other ones. Here's one that says, oops, we're expecting technical difficulties, stand by, which, it always happens. And then there's the unmute your mic. We can't hear you. Or please mute your mic, mister. We don't need to hear you eating lunch. So these have been very popular. I've got 5 of these here. They're super popular and exciting to have. So just wanted to share that. Okay, more questions from Facebook, maybe, Tess?
Sure. Kyle says, we have some people that almost refuse to embrace technology. How should the church be handling these situations? We've talked about sending USB drives out with recorded services, but not everyone has a PC. They thought about DVDs, but not everyone has a DVD player. We've tried Zoom, but it's a challenge for it's a technical challenge for people.
Oh my gosh, that's a tough question to answer. I think that if you attend Worship Summit Live on Wednesday, that this is going to be something that we are going to cover, especially in the leadership track. So Worship Summit Live is put into 2 tracks. There's the leadership track and there is the technical track. And obviously there's a technical barrier for people on both ends of the spectrum, right? Those who are trying to broadcast an engaging event and maybe doing some of this stuff with OBS, combining live streaming and Zoom meeting technology and having the chat and everything. There's technical barriers on both of those sides, and we need to break those barriers down in order to effectively communicate with online communication technologies, right? I mean, you can have people use a phone. So a lot of people don't even have internet, but they have a phone, and so that they can call 911 if they have to, right? So it's a safety thing, and people have phones. Well, every Zoom meeting has a Zoom phone option, so they can actually call in and listen. So that's one way to get them started. Zoom also has a way to do a one-tap join the meeting. So right from your smartphone, you one tap and boom, you join the meeting. Now on YouTube, for example, that does require an app generally. Facebook requires an account. Now Facebook has removed the requirement to have an account to view Facebook live streams, and YouTube is very, very common, right? It's very common. So if they don't have internet and they don't have a computer, then the best option is to have them listen on their phone. So I would highly suggest using Zoom for that, because they provide that audio bridge, and it's included up to a certain amount. Now, how exactly it all works with international phone numbers and things like of that nature is something to work into. I hear Alan saying, Zoom is so easy. And like my high level recommendation is like, let's not reinvent the wheel. YouTube, very popular, very easy to use. That's where we're going to be live streaming on Wednesday for the Worship Summit. Zoom, very popular, very easy. That's how we're going to be doing two-way communications. And I highly suggest folks get the Professional Development Pass so that they can really engage in the Q&A and meet people and do the small breakout sessions that we're going to be offering. And many churches are telling me that the Zoom sessions are really great for like coffee hour. So there's 150 people in the congregation. A lot of people are joining the Zoom meetings. A lot of people are lonely right now. A lot of people need the message of God right now. A lot of people want that connection to their church, yet it's unsafe for them to be there right now in a large group. So they really enjoy these small group breakouts where they get to meet people again in smaller sessions. And so those have been very popular and very effective. So you're going to get a chance to see all of that on Wednesday. Sorry, go ahead, Julia.
Paul, one of the things that our family looked forward to following church services when things were sort of normal were coffee and donuts after the session. So, what a way to use Zoom for that, for people who are isolated, and to say, hey, you can't get your coffee and donuts in person, but join us for this Zoom conversation. So,
yeah. And I think that this is crucial because it's obviously not going away. So even in a year from now, you're going to need to have some type of hybrid approach. And I think that when I've heard from so many pastors, like when we go back in person, you're still going to be a need to accommodate folks who are online.
On the high risk side. You've got some questions on YouTube. I don't know if you're able to answer those. One is about streaming with two PTZ cameras. They're planning to stream to Facebook and YouTube through Restream. This is from Ryan Marks. And he's asking if we would suggest hardware or software switching. So, again, it would be like a vMix situation, right?
Yes. So, hi, Ryan. That is a great high-level question. There are many solutions out there for hardware and software systems. Hardware switchers can be used with software switchers. Imagine that. Now, a lot of churches aren't really thinking about projectors right now and projectors up on big screens. But when you have projectors and screens throughout your space, latency from the camera to the screens becomes very important. And so when you ingest video into a computer running OBS and then send it back out to projectors, that introduces latency, and it can make it just that half a second or second of latency between what's happening in real life based on what's happening on your televisions, and that can be an issue. So to fix that issue, a lot of folks have hardware switchers like Blackmagic switchers or Roland switchers. There's a lot of them out there, and they take the video in and they send it out super fast and easy. And it's called a video switcher or a matrix switcher. And if you're using a lot of projectors and televisions in your church, that's a great way to do it. And then one of the outputs of that video switcher can go right into OBS, can go right into vMix, and it can stream. Now, if you only care about streaming, here's vMix right here. Michael's showing a beautiful look at it there. And vMix gives you a great opportunity, and OBS as well. We showed OBS today. vMix is great. Wirecast is great. You can see here, we've got a full screen option, so that powers a television. We are streaming right now. And we are also using the external button here, a streaming external button, to pump that video back into Zoom. So it can do so much. Software can do more than hardware. Let's be honest. Software is very flexible, and you can do so much with it, including integrating it into like Easy Worship or Media Shout, Pro Presenter. software that allows you to overlay lyrics to your music. So you're going to need to get into the software world at some point. It really depends, and I'm happy to have conversations with you about that. But hopefully high level, that gives you some ideas to think about.
Mike, did you want to throw up using vMix this other question here from Rob Walden? Do you see that one?
I see it here.
Okay.
I can only see part of it though. Could you read it to me?
Oh, sure. Anyone know if it is possible to add more than one NDI input from different remote locations into production software such as OBS, vMix, etc., or can you only bring in one NDI from the local computer?
Okay. That's a great question, Rob, and I'm happy to answer it for you. And I kind of want to show the studio off here, Mike. If you can show a nice big studio shot, I want to show this what we're doing now. So we're using multiple NDI cameras. So I have an NDI camera for my main camera. I also have an NDI video source coming from my laptop. And so here's my laptop here. Okay, this is a little cable here that's plugged into our network. All right, it looks like a little sperm, really. Sorry, that's awkward. But here is this is an Ethernet cable right there. And this right here is also connected to the Ethernet switch. And this right here is connected to the Ethernet switch. And this thing I'm using right here called a Telestrator is connected to the Ethernet switch. So those are not hardwired video connections. Those are Ethernet connections. So the main one is my laptop. So my laptop is capturing an NDI feed of this screen right here. So anything that's on this screen, which is powered by my laptop, is thrown in to the main computer, Mike, which we'll go ahead and zoom you down a little bit here. Or that's a good way to look at it too. So this is the main computer. That's the streaming computer. There's another NDI camera there. And this main computer here is connected to the network switch here. And this is bringing in all of that stuff over here over the network. So you can bring in lots of different stuff. Now, Mike, show them the layout where it has the grid view and the active speaker, because that's the one a lot of people ask about. You can see the zoom view, but you can also see the active speaker in that. Yeah, this one, but then with cut here. Boom. Okay. So Julia, you can see below me, she's coming in through the main computer via a screen capture. But this right here, all of this, that is whatever I'm doing on my computer. That's just literally a screen capture via NDI. So if the question is, can you have multiple NDI sources on your local area network? The answer is yes. But I think I also demonstrated pretty well how we're doing it in this studio, which also I think is kind of revealing about how you could do it in your church. Ha! Todd Perkins said, Paul went there. Yeah, I went all out on that answer. Definitely went all out on that one. Answer for Rob, yes, you're going to have several sources. It basically comes down to the bandwidth on your local area network. Most people have gigabit networks, meaning they have 1,000 megabits to work with. Most NDI sources, like literally the NDI source from here, from my laptop to the computer, that's like 150 megabits. That's like 15% of the overall bandwidth available on my local area network. Add some cameras, add some more NDI sources, and you can fill it up pretty quick. But still plenty to work with.
Okay, I put another question in the chat there from Robert Eskandon. Using OBS, when clicking the iris, this is an OBS, when clicking the iris to toggle between turning on and off the open LP to display lyrics, there's a quick flicker of the LP before the lyrics appear.
LP, I wonder what that is.
That doesn't happen. So I guess he's talking about the track, the audio track.
LP. I'm not sure what he's talking about, to be honest.
To display lyrics. So I think
Open LP. That lyrics presenter? Yeah, I don't know what Open LP is. I'll be honest. I'm familiar with, there's so many out there. I think it's a free open source lyrics presenter software, possibly. I'm familiar with Easy Worship. I'm familiar with Pro Presenter. I'm familiar with Media Shout, but I don't know all of them. And I think the one that you're talking about is called OpenLP, and I don't know about it. I'm sorry.
Sounds like another video in our future.
Oh man, we'll have to make another video for you. We'll see. Give us a thumbs up if you want that. So this guy, the real shy guy, is a real stylish guy, is saying, loves the videos, keep answering questions I was about to ask. Great. Well, we'll be here for a couple more minutes. Let's get them opened up here. OpenLP. I'm not sure what that is. I'm going to take a quick look. OpenLP. I would love to see you guys all in the Worship Summit. And here's the great news. Okay. We're going to give away 10 free professional development passes for the Worship Summit right now in the Zoom chat. So I want to give everybody a second to get in there. Literally, the Zoom chat, which we all took a look at, right? We talked about it at the beginning here. Here it is right here. This is the Zoom chat. Although, Tess, I don't know if I guess that's fair, right?
Well, the Zoom chat, they received there was a link to that in YouTube, wasn't there? Didn't you put a link to how they can access that?
Yeah, there's a link.
We haven't posted the link on YouTube for today's Zoom call. But I did email it, and I also placed my email address in the YouTube chat.
No, I'm talking about the overall Zoom chat that Paul's referring to in the Zoom client. So did you post something on YouTube how they can join that and access that?
Yeah, I thought you did, Tess.
No, a video?
No. The invite to if you wanted to add a contact to the Zoom chat.
Yeah, no, I've never made anything regarding that yet.
Okay. I'm gonna post it in there then. Basically, you guys anyone who wants to win to get one of these, you have to basically become a contact with us. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add contact. I'm going to copy an invitation. I wanted to show everybody how to do this because it's definitely worthwhile. Let's see if I can get that in there. I guess that's too long.
Oh, we've got some people in here chatting right now that they're in. Joshua's in. Adamola's in. Jay's in.
Okay, good.
Glenn is in. All right. So we've got people coming in.
Okay, good.
We can reshare the Zoom chat link in the YouTube and Facebook chat as well.
Okay. So 100% discount there's only going to be 10 of these. Okay.
And you're going to announce the winner are you going to announce the winner? You'll announce it now, and we're going to announce it in the Zoom chat as well.
Use coupon code 10. Okay. There we go. Oh, I guess I kind of announced it. So if you were in the Zoom chat, you got it first, essentially. But yeah, there we go. So we want you guys to be able to communicate with us in the Zoom chat. We want you guys to be part of Worship Summit Live, not just on the live stream, but also in the Zoom breakout sessions on Wednesday. So we just gave out 10 coupon codes with coupon code 10, T-E-N. And if you were in the Zoom chat, you received that 45 seconds before YouTube.
So basically anybody who's watching today is very lucky because they get that exclusive content that will be part of the Worship Summit on Wednesday, which is our professional development Zoom room.
So how long is that coupon code valid for then, Paul?
So it's available. It's available. There's 10 of them. So it's TEN is the coupon code. You have to go to Eventbrite.
First come, first serve.
First come, first serve then.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. That link I just sent out is just a link to become a contact with me. It's not the right link to become a contact.
Is that the link that I sent out then?
Whoops.
Oh boy, we're a mess.
Okay, we did make a mistake there. Let me make sure I get you guys the right one. Hold on. Sorry, guys. I did mess that up. I need to log in as the Worship Summit. Oh, sorry. That's my fault. I'll take full responsibility for that. I was not thinking. Okay. Sorry. There's a different link. I apologize. I totally messed that up.
Well, you gave everybody the code anyways, so it will be first come, first serve.
You got the code anyway, but I'm going to send it to you just because.
We do want you to join our Zoom chat, though.
Mike is going to send me to detention. All right, let me get in here and send you guys the right link. That is the right link. We would love for you guys to be part of that link. That gets you into the Zoom session. And I think the best thing for you guys to do is to join it, connect with the Worship Summit, and then it will invite you to that channel and experience it. Because once you experience it, you will have the opportunity to implement it at your own church. And I think the communication capabilities that you'll be able to do will be valuable to you in many ways. So that's our show, folks. We redeemed ourselves in the beginning and the end of this show, but I think there's a story in that alone to always push on and make sure you stick with it. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you on Wednesday, guys. Hey everybody, if you're seeing this, we have an issue. This is a video clip that will let you know that the Presence Summit live stream is down right now.